Hello, hello, hello. Test, test, test. Sounds good. Let me turn my audio up a little bit. Test back at me. Got a whopping 12 people. I guess everyone's over at the Crypto Jack stream. Okay. I'll give everyone a minute to head over and then we'll get started. The smooth voice in the alpha. Well, you came to the right place. I got them buttery, what's the word I'm looking for? I always said smoky soothe. Silky smooth. God. Yeah, I had to push the stream back later today because I was doing strength and conditioning with my strength and conditioning coach, and I'm like fucking toast right now. My brain is broken. All right. Let's get started. Sorry for the cough. It's pollen season over here in Georgia, so I'm like slowly getting inundated with tree sperm and whatnot. I just realized I didn't transition my scene. Okay, let's get a new notepad going. Boop. Daily discussion. What's today? 3/29/2023. Cool. Boom. So with the monthly close coming up, there's a lot of interesting stuff to keep an eye on. So monthly closes 31 days in March, so it'll close on Friday, which is also the weekly close for equities and stuff like Dixie and stuff like that. So this weekly close is also going to be the monthly close today, or this week. And it's particularly relevant because, as always, we'll start by looking at the dollar index, Dixie, and I don't really care about this per se, but it is a proxy for strength or weakness in every other market. So dollar up equals everything else down, and dollar down equals everything else up, right? So I care about what the relative strength of the dollar is looking like. On the monthly, we see that it completed this C-clamp reversal. Well, not reversal, mean reversion rather, which also coincided with the overhanging resistance turn support. And currently it's looking, it has a really good possibility of closing a bearish engulfing candle. And if this thing closes a bearish engulfing candle on the monthly, it would also coincide with a cloud breakthrough on the weekly. And this sort of price action would be exceptionally bullish for Bitcoin. So let's say Dixie one monthly close. Let's say monthly. Watch for a bearish engulfing candle on the close, which is Friday. And 2 weekly is currently working on a cloud breakout. So cloud breakout would be to the downside. So I'll make that note. A cloud breakout to the downside. Why do we care about Dixie? Dixie down equals Bitcoin up. I'll say Bitcoin and everything else up. Because everything's denominated in the dollar for the most part, right? So you just basic fractions, right? If you have something divided by USD, if USD goes down, it makes the total value go up, or the relative value go up, right? So currently poised for a cloud breakthrough, right? We have all of the textbook signs of trend weakness for Dixie. We have our Kumo twist, our little red cloud, right? Our Kijun is inside the cloud. Price is below the cloud. It's not a full-blown bear trend just yet, but these are like the early signs of what a bear trend would look like, right? So what else can we say about this? What does it look like on the Bollinger Band monthly? So here's the other thing. If we can close a monthly candle below this midline, that would be huge. Closing below this midline will almost certainly show us that we're going to run to this lower band, which would be, if this, projecting upwards, right? Assuming the band just kind of comes up. I mean, if the Dixie comes down here, you better expect everything else to just rage on upwards, right? So the entire bear market that we saw in crypto and in stocks, if you want to call it that, occurred because Dixie had a leg up. So bull markets will occur when Dixie has a leg down. And if we get a bearish engulfing close, that would be ideal. So I'll also make a note here. Watch for bearish engulfing close on the close. This would also go inside. Did I spell coincide? Did I spell that right? Just want to check me on that. That would also coincide with a close below the monthly B-bands midline. Target equals lower B-band. I will also say this too. Do this. We'll do this. Weak Dixie would pave the way for a strong crypto bull market. Say crypto and everything else bull market. So the reason why I care about this is because these are the conditions we want to see, right? So if for whatever reason Dixie fails to close below this support, and keep in mind these are monthly candles, right? If it fails to close below this support, that would be a sign that maybe we're going to bounce. I mean, maybe it closes just like this, right? Cool. And maybe next month it closes below. Cool. That'd be ideal. But until Dixie closes below this support and like breaks through it, I don't know that crypto and equities and all this other stuff. I don't know that they're going to have like the green light to go ahead, because right now, like, it's no surprise that we're sitting here consolidating in crypto right as we're sitting on this support, right? So as soon as this makes up its mind, everything else is going to figure it out. All right, so I'll get rid of this. I'll make this note instead. Weak Dixie equals risk on event for other assets. We'll say that. All right. I think that's about all I want to go into on Dixie. It's really important with with a dollar index. You don't want to like 200 IQ this stuff. Just like take away the big moves, right? And right now the big move is closing below this level. Make this visible on the week. Is this visible on my weekly chart? Yeah. Okay. Makes sense? Oh, also we're coming into a weekly B-band squeeze too. Yeah, because so there's a lot of downward trending indicators for the weekly Dixie chart. Cloud, I didn't even notice that B-band squeeze, but Cloud is very clearly looking bearish, right? And B-bands, we got a really nice squeeze, right? If we look at the BBW, very squozing, squeezing. And what would be a good sign of a downward continuation, if you want to see early signs of a continuation, is if we can get a. So obviously, if you don't want to wait for the monthly close, so let me pitch this idea for you. Okay, so let's assume maybe we don't close a bearish engulfing. Okay, no big deal. Early signs that we're going to see continued weakness going into April, maybe even into May, would be if we can get a weekly close on the lower B band. So something that looks like this, right? But just the opposite, right? I'm trying to find a more consolidated thing. So here, for example, we get our squeeze, and we get, once the market gets velcroed to the lower band, it wants to ride the band. And if we can get this sort of thing, this is, you want to talk about some bull porn. This was the 2017 crypto bull market. It was all right here. Right? So if we can get something similar where the market can like velcro itself to this lower band on the weekly, we're most likely going to continue down to that lower monthly band. So I'll make a note on that as well. Weekly. A is currently working on a cloud breakout to the downside. B, early signs of Dixie weakness would take the form of a close on the lower B band. The B bands are currently very consolidated and are ripe for a breakup. Okay, I think this is good. Anything else? I think this is good. All right. Any questions about this Dixie stuff before we move on to crypto? Okay, let's go to crypto. So let's use this chart. So let's start on the weekly, and we'll update and drill down deeper. So weekly, we're still good on this edge to edge, right? We're still inside this cloud. We have yet to close below the cloud. Lower boundary of the cloud is acting as support. And if we can get Dixie to again close on this lower B band, this lower boundary of the bands, I think that will be the perfect catalyst for this to just go nuts, right? We have an edge-to-edge target of 43,300. And to put things into perspective, what is all this stuff? Messy chart. Put things into perspective. Sorry, I gotta like clean this up, otherwise my brain's gonna be very distracted. Oh my god, there's so many little specks on here. I don't know what happened. But if we can get the, I'm gonna give you, this must be an old chart that like I was doing low time frame stuff on. There's a bunch of like little support and resistance lines on here. Sorry. To put things into perspective here, right? Here is that example that I gave you where we had the B-band squeeze, and then it velcroed itself here. Okay, this time frame from March 2017 until January 2018 coincided with, where are we? March 2017. Wait, I'm gonna get a chart with more history on it. Whoa. How strange. This has been, I'm finding like I'm finding old notes. God knows how long these notes have been on here. Those must have been there for like 4 years or something like that. But that Dixie bull market coincided with the breakout of Bitcoin in 2017. So March 2017 was here. January 2018 is, somewhere over here. So this whole parabolic market really began. I mean, you can say it began down here, like, sure. But I mean, like, it didn't go into price discovery until we had this whole thing here. So that's the reason why I give it so much of a shit about Dixie, is because if we can see Dixie really show us some weakness, show its hand, and decide what it's going to do with its life when it gets older, if it can glue to this lower band, I truly believe Bitcoin has the potential to do just like stupid stuff. Like stupid stuff, right? And at minimum, run to the upper boundary of this cloud. At minimum. Like, that would not be shocking to me. So, make a new section for Bitcoin. BTC. Weekly. Oh, sorry. Hold on a second. My dog's barking at the mailman. 1 sec. Let me close my door. Sorry about that. All right. Sorry. We're back. I don't like to keep the door to my office closed because it just makes her sad. So I give her one chance. I'm like, if you bark one time, you get the door treatment. All right. So on the weekly, what do we want to say here? Edge to edge is very much still in play. Let's say edge to edge. Make this right. Edge to edge on cloud. And we'll say target equals, what did I say? 43, let's say 43.5. 43,000. It's like 450 or something like that, but who cares at that point, right? So edge to edge target is 43.5. And let's say if this would likely be coupled with the Dixie breakdown described above. Man, I really need to start labeling these things. I'm like, I wasn't intending for these notes to be so detailed, but I kind of like it. Like it's like almost like I'm writing like a little bit of a book. Like I kind of like this. Yeah, described above. Watch for Eban's breakout on weekly. Okay. If we look at something like the monthly chart, I'm of the opinion that like the monthly chart is kind of like a little bit too high time frame because we do stuff like this a lot. But what's really interesting right now is the cloud on the monthly chart is providing support, right? Like we can see how it like the market kind of like ran sideways into it and it's now kind of tracking the upper boundary. And it stands to reason that at minimum, we would see the monthly candle mean revert to this Kijun, which is at 42.3. So, within striking distance of this edge to edge. Let's do this. I'll make monthly. Although, let's say this. Although a bit too high to be too high TF to be actionable, the cloud is providing support with a mean reversion target of the keygen. Target equals, what did I say? 42, wait. 42, let's just say 42, 450. So, interestingly enough, within like what is the percent difference between that and it's like a 1% difference in price between the weekly target and the monthly target. So that's really interesting. Funny how that works out. And now when we drill a little deeper on the daily stuff, that's where we have a lot more to talk about. Before I go deeper, do you guys have any questions about this stuff? So let's say, let's go down. All right, I'll take the the silence as no. So following the same methodology of using the cloud metrics, right? We see that there's this C-clamped setup, this mean reversion setup that is still targeting the, the daily Kijun, which is interesting because this is a bit of a mixed signal compared to the weekly chart, which is showing the edge to edge. So, if we try to 200 IQ this for no reason, but let's just do a thought experiment here. Totally possible that we close the weekly candle inside the cloud on the monthly open, which is, the monthly closes on Friday. So, we'd look at Monday to be like the monthly open really. Because, it's the weekend and weekend's kind of just like a shit show. We totally see a move down to the Kijun and come back up. Like if that happens, that's like bet the fucking house. Like buy that Kijun with all your might. Like hold the line there, because if you get a move down to the Kijun, that's huge. Like there's so many things that are saying this is a beginning of a macro bull market. And this is a great moving target to buy the fucking dip on. So what do we want to say about this? C-clamp still intact with a target of the daily Kijun at, what did I say? 24.5. Let's just call it that. Daily Kijun. Target equals 24,500. And when we look at things like the Bollinger Bands, for example, this also is telling us that like we're not quite ready to move up yet, right? Signs of Bollinger Band exhaustion, or not exhaustion, but like the need to like quote unquote cool off or like shake people out and then move up. Like you can see it visualized in the Bollinger Bands here. The market before it moves likes to be squeezed first, in this fashion, and in this fashion here, where the market will like, it'll like bottleneck and then blam, it'll expand again. Now it should be noted that like we don't have to pull back first. Like we don't have to do any of that shit. We don't have to C-clamp. We don't have to do anything. But if the market does break, so say for whatever reason the market does break this trading range here, that's the target we're looking for. Like that's a logical target. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, what if that just never happens? Like what if we just keep going sideways or move up from here? Like that's totally possible too, right? But if the market does break through here and sees like, like a liquidation cascade of some kind, like the daily Kijun is the logical target, and the daily B bands are telling us that like the market still needs to consolidate more, right? So if we look at just the Bollinger Band width, which is this, you know, all this stuff down here, you can see quite clearly that like there are zones where the market consolidates, right? And if we look at all these little zones right here, these are all periods of consolidation. So if we move up here, consolidation, right? Move up here, consolidation. Up here, consolidation, consolidation. And even though all hell looks like it was breaking loose, right? The B bands were telling us moves to the downside aren't ready yet. Even if they are going to go to the downside, they aren't ready yet, right? And if we just keep playing this forward, you know, it actually consolidates, and then, you know, we all know what happened from there. But all of these little like lumps, like these lumps like this, these are all periods of consolidation, right? Scroll up, boom, 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 and this just goes on forever, right? Now, does that mean that we're going to reverse? Does that mean we're going to continue? No, that Bollinger Bands don't give us that level of insight. All they say is, hey, we're just not ready. Whatever we're going to do, we're just not ready yet. So I'll also say B, daily B bands are still in need of consolidation. Now, if we do make a move upward, so say maybe it's something like so this isn't quite comparable to this, because you can see, like, if we go back in time, something like this, like the B bands weren't like rounding as overtly, and of course it did get that extra little push upward. But if we go back in time, we can see here that like any move that doesn't glue to the upper boundary of the band or the lower boundary, like if we take a bearish example, a move to the lower boundary, if it doesn't glue to this band, it's most likely a fake out. So that's why I really love the Bollinger Bands, is because it gives you an objective look to be like, is this ready to move? Is this a fake out? Like, where's it going? So let's, you know, play the thought experiment here. If this does move up from here, I would look for an attachment of the Bollinger Band before it continues, right? So daily Bollinger Bands are still in need of consolidation. What else? If, for whatever reason, we move up anyway, watch for a failure to, what's the opposite of failure? Success? A failure, watch for failure / failure or success. Acceptance, there we go, I like that. Failure or acceptance of the upper band. Right, so here's an example of what a failure to attach to the upper band would look like. So if we were trading this stuff here, right, we see this we see this stuff here, right, and we see all these moves up, but none of them are moving up to this upper band. So as we go through time, we can see that like these are all fake breakouts. All fake breakouts. Until it glues to this band, it's not a good indicator of like continuation. And in fact, what we see is, right, let me go back in time again. When we're sitting here at this, when we're sitting here at this decision-making point, we're like, okay, where's it going? You know, where is it going? Well, we go, okay, well, at minimum, we can just say we don't know. So as we step through time, okay, what's it doing? Oh, this close right here is a big sign that, oh shit, we're probably about to do a reversal of some kind. We see the Bollinger Bands expanding here. We see the price glued to the lower band. And sure enough, you know, a local downtrend ensues. Now, obviously, it reversed here. But we can see that we had, you know, a couple days of down from here. Vice versa. Okay, it goes, okay, any shorts you had, you get stopped out. It comes up here to the upper band. You go, okay, interesting that it's at the upper band, but it's not glued to it. So you can see here that like this is more like bouncing off of the band rather than doing something like this. Like this is what it looks like, where it's just like attached to it. And as we step through time, market weakness, right? Keep going, right? And now watch the Bollinger Band width this whole time. It's widening, and then finally, like this was a very, very volatile. This trading range was exceptionally hard to trade, right? It was stopping out longs, or stopping out shorts, stopping out longs, stopping out shorts. And now we are where we are now, right? So it's pushing upward, and we're going sideways through the Bollinger Bands. So what we need to watch for now is most likely, if I had to guess, like, I don't know, 5-6 more days of consolidation. Let these bands come together like this. Boom. And we'll neck like this. The market will make a decision, and it'll either go down or up. Three-day and weekly still look pretty glued. Yeah, if this thing closes on the band, the weekly closes on the band, I would definitely agree with that. 3 days kind of iffy. Like if it closes on the band, I would definitely agree with you. How does the closure of futures cause a breakout? What do you mean by that? All right, so you guys are saying look at futures. Okay. 3-day futures. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it's like glued to the band, to be honest with you. Again, if it closes up here, like maybe a little bit higher, like it closes, like it makes, if it closes a new weekly level, like that'd be a huge sign of continuation. Probably my comment of the 3D CME futures about to close above the cloud. What does that mean? 3-day futures closing. Oh, interesting. I hadn't even checked this. This is really interesting. So this looks like it's about to be a cloud breakout. How long do we have on this? We have an hour and 30 minutes on this. Okay, so this is actually about to close the beginnings of a cloud breakout. Now, it's not a true cloud breakout yet. Like if you want to get like if you want to get like super technical about it, because a cloud breakout would look more like this, where we have everything outside the cloud. You know, you have your, let me zoom in on it. We have the lagging span, the Kijun, or the Tenkan, the Kijun, all that stuff is outside the cloud too. That would be more of a cloud breakout. So something like this is a cloud breakout, right? Which, you know, this very well could turn into that, but I'm just saying, like, to give a really, really high confidence in a quote unquote cloud breakout, we would want to see, you know, everything else coming out too. But like the fact that it's through the cloud right now, that's definitely bullish. No doubt about it, for sure. I'm just saying, like, if you're looking at the relative strength of trends and you're going to be like, this is a strong trend, this is a weak trend, this is more like the potential early signs of a strong trend beginning. Nook with another gifted sub. This is like number 10,000 for you, I think, approximately. Thank you. I actually don't look at the 3-day chart that much, to be honest with you. This is interesting. The 3-day is kind of a weird chart to look at if you're looking at futures, because that would give you like inconsistent intervals, I think. But objectively, looking at this, for sure. You never look at the lagging span. Yeah, so even if you don't look at the lagging span, so let's say we're looking at this. It still wouldn't be considered a cloud breakout because you don't have the Tenkan and the Kijun. Now, fast forward, I don't know, 4 or 5 candles maybe. And let's say maybe the price is up here. Then yeah, for sure, this stuff is coming out of the cloud. And you could, you could be like arguing that it's a cloud breakout then. What's the value on that CME gap above? Which one? This one? Or this one? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? 2? Or are you saying like what's the value? Like what's the numerical value? Was that what you're asking? 35. You know, the upper boundary would be like 35.9, 35.950, something like that. And keep in mind that this is futures, so they're actually running at a premium right now. So spot is like 38, or spot is at 28, 340. Futures are 28, 400. So they're actually running at a premium, which is bullish because people are anticipating higher prices if they're buying futures at a premium compared to spot. I'll add this to the notes too. Let's say CME futures 3-day CME futures is on the verge of a cloud breakout. I'll say a bullish cloud breakout. A bullish cloud breakout. A strong breakout would occur if we can also get the Tenkan and Kijun back above the cloud. So again, if we get these little, the blue squiggle, the blue squiggle and the red squiggle, we can get those above the cloud too, which all it just needs is time, really. The longer this sits sideways, the more it's just going to pull everything up or snake it out to the side at minimum. One already filled. Yeah. This gap already filled completely. So daily on CME futures also has a C clamp as well, which would target this Kijun right here. The thing that's interesting too is there's also an edge-to-edge setup on the weekly for CME futures as well, which is at a higher value than spot, and that's at 43,750. Oh, sorry, weekly CME futures also has an edge to edge setup that would target equals, what did I say? 43,750. So that's, around the same price as spot, but it's going to have a premium on it. Okay. Now, when we drill even deeper into the Bitcoin spot, we'll say, I'm going to make this a different section. Sorry, I like to have my notes all pretty. Do this. So question, where would you look to add to hold bags? Wait to break above upper B band? Yeah, so I would look for a pullback to the Kijun. Right now, and that's on the daily candle. So right now, like the Kijun is set up for a mean reversion that would target this guy. And I have those targets all in my notes on the left here. Here. Oh, wait, sorry. Oops. If you get a pullback to the Kijun, that is asking to add. So I'll give you some examples of prior bull markets, right? So this is the what is this? The 2020 bull market. We can see here that like in a really strong trending market, the market just like with Bollinger Bands, the market will glue to this Tenkan. And every time it comes back to the Kijun, these are great opportunities to buy. As long as the Tenkan is above the Kijun, if the market comes down to the Kijun, these are great spots to buy, right? Boom, boom. Thanks. And if it doesn't pull back, I mean, look, if it doesn't pull back, there's a lot of things we can do here. Like, you must have like just joined the stream or something, but I talked about this earlier. We would look for so here's the thing. If it doesn't pull back, then we go through a list of conditionals. We go through a list of like, if this, then that, if this, then that, if this, then that. We have like a giant checklist of things, right? And right now, I would look for the Bollinger Bands to consolidate. So let's just say like this is like super bull mode, right? And let's say this thing's super bull mode. And it's just like, oh, no pullbacks ever, right? Whatever meme people want to spread. No pullbacks ever. If we have B bands like this that are consolidating, sometimes we don't get pullbacks and it just keeps going up. But what we would look for is we look for something like this. Let me find a bullish version of it. We look for something like this. Where we see, okay, the market is consolidated. We don't know if this thing's going to continue going down. Maybe it reverses, right? So we wait for that. The moment it closes on the upper band, that is a good sign that a new trend is beginning. Now, is that a one size fits all? Absolutely not, right? We can see here the market glued to the upper band and then shit the bed, right? This would be a major sign of trend failure. And this would be like when we see a strong trend, we don't want to see things like this. Like that's not a sign of continuation. Rather, what we'd like to see, let's speed this up a little bit. Okay, so market's consolidating, it's consolidating, it's consolidating, right? Rather, what we want to see, oh shit, did not want to do that. I want to go, right? So we get our first sign, we're like, okay, this thing's ready to go. The spring is coiled, it's compressed, it's ready to explode, right? Boom. That is the sign we're looking for. That's the moment it glues to this upper band, and we say, okay, if I get a bearish engulfing candle off of this, that's a get the fuck out of Dodge moment. But it doesn't. It stays connected, and it glues, and it just keeps going. Right? Now watch the Bollinger Bands. This right here, combined with market going sideways, is a sign that at minimum, the uptrend is done and needs to consolidate before it either resumes going up or reverses. So it's not a simple like, if it goes up, where do I buy? It's like I want market conditions that show me that even though I'm buying the top of the market, I need a strong indication that it's going to continue. And we can go back in time and look at this like over and over again, right? So if we were to go here, if we were to go here, boom. This is an example of a fake out, right? So market's consolidated, right? We can see it. Let me get rid of these, the percent P. Market is consolidated, very, very consolidated, tighter than it's been consolidated in many months before it, okay? So we know something big is going to happen. We don't know if it's going down or if it's going up. So we wait. We say, okay, oh shit, we get our first close almost, it's like basically like on the B band, but not quite. If you look closely, it's not quite there. We wait for another close. Boom. That would be the short signal, right? So how do we know when we're wrong? How do we know, okay, it's time to buy back? Well, keep going. We get things like this. We get things like that. This is the moment we say, I was wrong. This gave us fake weakness. This is the sign that I was wrong, right? We keep going forward. We go, oh, interesting. It closed above the midline. Oh, interesting. It's running straight to the upper band. This setup right here is called a head fake. So the market fakes to the downside, closes a bullish engulfing, and then sure as shit, if you remember what happened next, it went up like crazy. Oh, Crypto Jack, you've blessed us with your presence, our Lord and Savior. Just tripled the population of the chat out of nowhere. For those who don't know, we're talking about Bollinger Bands right now. So basically the question was this, if you're just not joining us. The question was, okay, so let's say, pullback. Honestly, buying pullback targets is easy. How do you know when like you're expecting a pullback? When do I buy back and know that I'm wrong? Okay. We'll keep walking through this example because these Bollinger Bands are so interesting. They're such a great tool. So we can see here, right? So here's an example of a bearish fake out. So we see here we have really squeezed Bollinger Bands. We see the gluing to the upper band, and we say, oh man, this thing looks like it's ready to go. And I'm just making a new all-time high. This thing looks like it's ready to go. It's hot and ready, right? Little Caesars. We keep as we traverse through time, How do I know that I'm wrong? Boom. This is the sign that you're wrong. This is another head fake. So it faked bullish strength. This fella right here is the sign that I am wrong. It closed very deeply inside the Bollinger Bands. And now... Oh, God, I'm getting so many messages. Okay. Let me see. Have a great stream. Thanks, Dad. Have a good day at school. Don't forget to introduce yourself to new folks like it's their first time they've ever seen you. Okay. I'll make sure that I look good for the school pictures, all right? So many. Well, welcome, everyone. This is the most people I've had on stream in a while. So if you're new here, we're talking about Bollinger Bands, and we're talking about how to know when you're wrong objectively, right? So going back in time, right? This is how you know you got duped at the top of the market. As we step through the B bands, go faster. Go 3x. This is the moment you go, oh shit, I'm wrong. I bought the breakout. I bought the top. Now I sell and I get out. Because look what happens next. Boom. This is the confirmation that you're definitely wrong. It went edge to, it did upper band to lower band, and now it's glued to the lower band. And sure enough, it keeps going down. Now, is this the strongest downtrend? No, right? Because strong trends glue to the bands. But as long as it's below the midline, it is still objectively a downtrend. So maybe you're watching this and you're like, oh man, oh my God, okay. I just got gifted so many subs. Let me see. An anonymous gift of 5 subs. Well, thanks Anonymous. Crypto Jack, you got gifted a sub. Thanks, man. Thanks for supporting the stream. Okay. I gotta pat my head and rub. This is like one of those things where I'm juggling 2 things at once. Okay. Let me get my thoughts together here. So many notifications. Okay, so let's say maybe you're still bullish on this, right? You're still overall macro bullish, right? We're seeing swing higher lows, higher highs. You're thinking, okay, maybe this thing's just going to go here. It's going to go here. It's going to snake up. Where you know that you're probably wrong about this as we go to a higher time frame. You look at things like the weekly, or you go to things like the monthly. And the monthly told the whole story here. That we had an M top on the monthly, and that, as we all know, go faster. As we all know, gave birth to the bear market. Right? So now, well, I know I just like dumped a bunch of B-Bands knowledge on you guys. Yeah, let's hear some questions about it. If anything that I said didn't make sense or anything like that. Let's hear it. Oh, by the way, so if you guys didn't know already, me, Jack, and if you don't follow this guy, you should. He makes really good YouTube videos. Josh Olszewicz, also known as Carpe Noctem on Twitter. He got his stardom in 2017. Actually, probably earlier than that. I think he was in the game before me, but either way, he makes really good content on YouTube. For sure, follow him. He doesn't do live streams, I don't think, but he does make really good market recap videos. on YouTube, and they're great. You should follow him. But either way, us three are going to do a twice a month stream where the first Wednesday of the month, Jack will host the stream, and then the third Wednesday of the month, I will host a stream. It'll be an hour-long discussion, and the three of us will just have like we're calling it the Bitcoin, the market power hour, and so yeah, it'll just be like a Justice League of crypto content creators, and you guys should come check it out. So the first one is going to be let's see, on the 5th. The first one will be the 5th, which is a week from today. And, it'll be at the same normal time that I stream, which is at 2. And yeah, it'll be a good time. All right, let me sort through these questions here. Okay. Does the Ichimoku and B-band strategy work on low time frame? Yeah. So I don't. It depends on how low you're talking. Like, yes, to a certain degree, right? So if we look at like 1 minute Ichimoku cloud, it works, but it's like not the best. Like it just looks like static, right? As we get to higher time frames, like maybe 15 minutes, it's okay. 4 hour is like pretty good. Right. So if we look at the 4 hour chart, it really has to be like in really good trending markets for it to work well. Right. So if we look at the prior bull markets, it's not the cleanest signal. Now, I'm sure if you looked at Josh's, quote unquote crypto settings, you probably get a better read on the 4 hour chart. But on the daily chart, I think it works really, really well for catching these dips. Like, look how well it catches all of these moves here. And especially gives you, buy the dip targets when it does pull back. So I think daily, for me, 4 hour is the lowest I will go on Ichimoku. And that's with like exception. Only if the signals are super clean. Daily and weekly are really good. Monthly is almost like too high. But B bands, on the other hand, B bands work really, really well on all time frames. So like you can use them on like 1 minute charts. They work really well. You can see very clean trends where it's riding above. Consolidation. Oh, look, it glues to the lower band. It rides down. Consolidation. Glues to the lower band. Rides down. So, like, now keep in mind, the lower the time frame, the lower the time frame, the weaker the signals are. But they are signals nonetheless. Now, if you look at like 5 minute charts, 5 minute charts work very well for scalps. 15-minute charts also work very, very well for scalps. And then hourly, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly, those sorts of things work very well for like macro trend. What are my B-band settings? I use the standard B-band settings. It's just the default ones. So you get the 20 SMA and 2 standard deviations. One minute setup equals 1 minute price target, so the usefulness decreases somewhat. Yeah, agreed. But it's very easy if you're like new to reading B-bands. It's very easy to look at a 1 minute chart and be like, oh shit, a breakout. And it's like, no, keep it in perspective. It's a 1 minute breakout, not a macro breakout. Okay, so here's another question. Can you expand how the monthly gave your signs of the bear market? Isn't that lagging behind? Well, so it's funny you asked that. So I called this in real time. Like, don't just take my word for it. Like, these are... Okay. So if we go back in time... There are you can kind of play some game theory here, okay? So I sent out this tweet in whenever this candle closed in October of 2021. I'm sorry, when the September candle closed and the October candle opened. This right here, it are the early signs that an M top is going to take place. Okay, what are the early signs? The early signs are we have the rounding of the B bands. Okay, we have the rounding of the B bands, meaning that consolidation is necessary. And right, so if we go to more price history, let's use like the big one. Monthly B bands are undefeated with calling market tops. Now it's like 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 if you want to call it that. But look, anytime you get a slope that curves down, that is a very good predictor. That is a very good predictor that the market is topped. And vice versa for that matter. Squeeze. Boom. Squeeze. Boom. Squeeze. Potential boom. Well, to be determined. But you get the idea. So if we go back in time to this candle, right? So candle closes. Oh, close. Boom. This on the open looked like it was going to continue, but these are all of the warning signs that, hey, we're looking weak here and the conditions are ripe for a reversal. Just because the conditions are ripe, does that mean it's going to reverse? No. But what that does say is, as John Bollinger says, it's time to pay attention. And when it shows signs like this is time to be like, okay, I'm looking for a reason as to why this should drop down. And you're planning out your strategy of like, this is my exit strategy. Where the confirmation comes is on the close of the next candle, which is boom. The first red candle of the M top is your entry for hedging or short or, exiting your long. Because the target is this midline. At minimum, the target is the midline. If this midline fails, the next target is the lower band, right? So if we speed this up and we step through time, now the B bands are dynamic targets, right? Like they're always moving. And you can see here that like the B bands are super blown out, but they'll quickly catch up. Right? So it starts playing grab ass on the midline. And then let's go back in time here. Why does it do that? I don't like how it skips forward like that. The moment it closes below the midline, that is a very strong indication that it's going to head to the lower B band. So target 1 is midline, target 2 is lower band. And sure as shit, if we step through time, boom, there you go. Hit the lower band, trade complete. It was very strong with the other confluence that started showing up. Yeah, exactly. So like this in isolation is already worrying. But when you look at other things, like stuff that I like to talk about, like the dollar index, and compare it, and we look at weakness in traditional markets, like watch. So this was November of 2021. Okay. If we go to the Dixie, go to the monthly chart. Where's November of 2021? November of 2021. This is weekly chart. Sorry, monthly chart. November of 2021 is here. We already see the strength of the dollar picking up. We see all these bullish engulfing candles, right? We see 1, 2 bullish engulfing candles. Crypto makes that M top structure. And then, of course, we see the dollar run, which leads to the Bitcoin bear market. So, like, these signals in isolation are strong. When you compare them to things on other factors like the Dixie, that is just further indication that, like, hey, this market's looking weak. Probably time to start taking profit. The double bottom confirmation on Dixie. Yeah. So if you look at the weekly chart, there's a double bottom here. So double bottom here. Boop, boop. Neckline. November of 2021 is the throwback to the neckline. Yeah. So here's your breakout. Here's your throwback. And this throwback is November of 2021. November of 2021. So, no surprise there, right? No surprise. Okay. Why isn't the first leg down of the M top concerning once it separates from the B band? What do you mean? It is concerning. That's the whole point of what I'm saying, is that it is concerning. Like if we go back here, this is, oh God, this is the oh shit moment. Okay. You go, even if we go back one step further, we go, okay, guy. Like this was when I sent out my tweet back in 2021. I was like, okay, guys, potential M top here. This is sketchy. Pay attention for a red close next month. Because if it closes next month red, most likely we've topped the market. And then when we step forward, we get a red close. We go, okay. Oh shit. We look over at Dixie, we go, oh shit. We see this double bottom breaking out. Time to get out of Dodge. You mean instantly when the first leg down happens, not the what do you mean by first leg down? This leg down? I'm going to give you 2 leg down. You tell me if it's A or B. A or B. A or B. Which one are you talking about? I mean this one. Oh, so it is concerning. It is definitely concerning, for sure. It is, yeah, no doubt about it. It is definitely concerning because this is an objectively weak point in the market. It's a huge monthly bearish engulfing candle, and engulfed. Well, not technically a bearish engulfing candle, but it's a fucking massive bearish engulfing candle, right? And if we look at things like the weekly chart, we start to see signs of weakness in the market when we do things like this. See on the cloud, we see the TK cross, the Tenkan Kijun cross. Now, does that mean the market's toast? No, but this sure as hell makes your butthole pucker, right? You're like, oh God, I hope this holds. Now, what can be bullish from here is a recross, right? If the market recrosses, this is exceptionally bullish. If we get a cross and then a recross, This is a strong sign of continuation. So we have to look for reasons as to why this wouldn't happen. One is the dollar. The dollar is showing strength, right? Or visually, if we look at this, confluence of the weakness is demonstrated here. We get our cross, we get our recross, we get our re-recross, which means it's faked out, a fake strength and got nuked, and our close below the cloud. So like just all of these things were just mountains of evidence to be concerned. I remember being baffled by the volume the entire way from 30 to 65. Yeah, it was really, really weird. Like I remember that too. Because it was just, you know what's funny is on BLX, the Bitcoin Liquid Index, it shows a different story than Coinbase, for example. Well, I guess it is swelling, right? It's swelling. But I remember like this being exceptionally confusing because there's just no volume there. You know what's funny is we had Jack's stream get dumped into the lobby, and we didn't even talk about the current trading range. Oh, specifically oh, this. Yes. You're talking about this guy. Yeah, so like that's a major sign of distribution that like this isn't, one of these things is not like the other. Like the total absence of volume on this rally is very, very different than this, for example. This usually, if markets float up on like zero volume, that usually means the price is being forced upward, and it's being propelled by liquidations, right? So it's just like short liquidation after short liquidation after short liquidation. Then you get the final bait and switch at the top, and then the nuke. We know now it was largely just Almeida doing their thing. Yeah, exactly. Like they're just totally just being pieces of shit. Okay. All right. So anything else about the cloud or B bands before we get into this lower time frame trading range? Because I've been talking about this a lot on Twitter, and I want to clarify some stuff with this. My current 4-hour B band read. Right now it's like a whole lot of nothing, honestly. Like not a strong trend. It's just a bunch of fake outs. Like it keeps going ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong? Question mark. It's just like just hanging out, right? Just being a bro. Just chilling with the bros. But it's definitely not getting the upper B band attachment that we would like to see if this was a continuation, right? We want to see the market closing on the band, right? We want to see like a Velcro attachment, and it's just not there. Which makes sense because we look at the daily B bands, right? Like I said, it needs to consolidate more. Very clearly not consolidated, unconsolidated B bands. Right? Now, is it going up? We don't know. Is it going down? We don't know. Thankfully, for things like B bands, we don't have to know. We can just wait. So let's talk about this trading range. This trading range looks very different than the last stream, right? Last stream I had it drawn something like this. Now that we've gotten more knowledge, more pieces of evidence, I feel more comfortable just going to the extremes. I put out a tweet yesterday talking about how this looked like stepping stone redistribution. Was totally wrong on that. It's definitely not a stepping stone redistribution because it shouldn't be up here if it was. Now, does that mean that this is reaccumulation and we're going to mark up? No. Does it mean that this is still distribution? No. Does it look like distribution? Yes, it does look like distribution. But what I think we really need for it to be distribution is a... So if we look on the daily chart, if we get a daily wick, let's draw a cleaner level than this. If we get a daily wick above the high that closes below, very similar to the, I'll keep this up. Very similar to the monthly B-bands chart. So something that does this. Or that more specifically. If we get something like that, this would be an early sign on the daily chart. So something that comes up here and comes down. That we're going to make a daily M top. Just like we did here. Right? Here's our close outside the band, our close inside the band, and boom, back down. So it would look like a fake breakout that reverses. And we would target just like on the monthly chart that I showed earlier, you would target the monthly or the midline, and then if the midline fails, we would target the lower band. But because this thing's sloping upwards so aggressively, every day that passes, this B band comes up pretty aggressively. So like, if we look at this and compare it to this, like if we step through time, like watch how aggressively the lower band comes up. Watch how aggressively the lower band steps up. Like it starts off really far behind, and then quickly this thing just comes screaming up. I would expect, even if we do get an M top on the daily, this thing's going to come screaming up. So even if it does go down to the lower band's probably going to be like here, which makes sense because that's also our daily C-clamp target, right? Where's the Bollinger Bands? So if we throw Bollinger Bands on here. Oh God, this looks like shit. Let me fix this. And I'll get rid of the cloud so it cleans it up a little bit. Oh, what? That's not what I meant to do. Boom, boom, boom. We'll get rid of you, and we'll get rid of you. There we go. Boom. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, that's not what I meant to get rid of. So let's say, let's just play hypothetical, right? Let's say if this thing does make an M top where it comes up and closes below, target would immediately be the midline. If the midline fails, it'd be the lower boundary of the B band, which I guess I can just draw it. If we continue this slope, it would look something like this. And by the time it came down, it would be the C-clamp target. So a lot of reasons to expect a pullback here. Does that mean we're going to get it? No. Do we have a plan if we don't get the pullback? Yes. Plan is we wait for something like this. To grip onto that upper band or, the lower band, right? One of the two. And once it grips onto the upper band, we go, okay, enter long, boom, enjoy the ride up. If it grips the lower band, we go, okay, I'm wrong. Enjoy the ride down. A UTAD would be golden. Yeah, that'd be sick. So a UTAD is an up thrust after distribution. It's basically, oops, it would look like this. Market comes up, comes down, right? So this would be on the daily chart. It'd be the move up to form the M top. An up thrust after distribution is basically like the final thrust into the market before it nukes. So if that sets up, then this would, if it does come up here, boom, and comes back down, that would be a really good indication that we're going to head for that C-clamp target or the M-top target, one of the two. But so far, with this current trading range, there's like no volume here on this move up. And this is very reminiscent of our prior market top, where there was just no volume on the ride up here. Zero volume. These are question marks. Zero volume. Where is it? Non-existent. Anyway. Oh, let's do daily B bands are still in. I need to add to these notes. We talked about a lot. All right, so daily B bands are still in need of consolidation. If for whatever reason we move up anyway, watch for a failure of the upper band. Daily B bands. Daily B band breakout failure would also set up a potential B bands M top. Similar to the monthly M top back in 2021. And we'll say target equals, I'm actually not going to give a number because these are dynamic targets. Target equals, I'll say target 1 equals midline. Target 2 equals lower band. Watch for close. I'll make the caveat here. Note, target 2 comes in play if we close below the midline. There we go. I'll move this back. Okay. So for those who came from CryptoJack stream, if you want these stream notes, head over to my Discord. I have a stream section in my Discord. I forgot to update the bot. Let me go ahead and get a link. I think that link is broken. I gotta update it. I accidentally posted a link with a timer on it. If you want these notes, I post them after every stream there, and I post a recording, so you can see all my prior notes from there. It's basically like a diary of sorts. But yeah. Okay. Oh, also, I'll take this opportunity too. If you're interested And so the stream section is totally free. Like I don't charge anything for that. But if you're interested in joining like the trading community, like that aspect of it where we actually discuss trades and, foster education and growth as a human, then you can go ahead and find the application to that in the stream section. And if you're interested, go ahead and fill that out and shoot me a message and we'll talk. Okay. What else do we want to say about this? Is there anything else? Any questions about Bitcoin, or do you guys want to go into altcoins and start squeezing them for all they're worth? Then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. All right. Let's hear some tickers. If you guys want to look at some altcoins, we'll take a look. Bro, thank you so much for this Discord. Thanks for recording the streams. You're welcome. Yeah. So like even if you join now, you can go back and look at the past notes if you're interested in that kind of thing. You can go back and look at the past notes too. All right, you want to look at total? So total's been in this ascending, broadening wedge, just like Bitcoin. But what's interesting about total is it's about to pop this thing. Has it already? Let me see. Oh, it already popped it. Either way, irregardless, flipping this level would be huge. Boom. Or boom. Right now, currently at resistance. Generally not advisable to get long exposure into resistance. You want to sell resistance, buy support, right? So right here, this is kind of like the danger zone. Are we going to break out? Are we not? It's had all of these like overlapping bars here. And it's pretty sketchy. When we look at the cloud, it's also having the C-clamp. It's also having the C-clamp here, which would target this Kijun as well. Overall, still a bullish trend. It's just, setting up for a right pullback. That's it. You want to look at GRT? So if you can, whenever you request a coin, tell me the exchange you want to look at it, because I don't look at a lot of these random coins. Okay, so it kind of looks like this coin had a failed rally here, and it glued to the upper band, but we can see here that like the B bands are rounding, and as we know, like these rounding moments in time usually indicate the death of that trend. But I mean, it could always consolidate and move up or consolidate and move down. But right now, I would not expect to see a lot more upside without any more consolidation. If we look at the daily trend, pretty bearish, right? So we see the price below the cloud. It's finding resistance on the cloud. Now, maybe it snakes up through here. And if it does, cool. But right now, this is objectively a bearish trend. Very much a bearish trend. Solana on Binance. Yeah, so Solana's doing what I like to call a Cosby sweater, where it's like just, right? This is the Cosby sweater here. And is currently through the cloud. But no discernible downtrend just yet. But this is definitely looking weak. Now maybe it snakes up through the cloud. Cool. But for now, it definitely looks bearish. Like if you look at the weekly, for example, like look how it's just slamming into the Kijun and getting rejected. Right? And now currently below the Tenkan. So this looks like it's just a continuation to the downside. Which wouldn't surprise me. It had this really, really crazy impulsive move off of a low. And it would not surprise me at all if this thing came down and swept this for a liquidity grab. But again, if this thing closes back above the daily cloud, that'd be a different story. The weekly B bands, it is above the midline though, which is interesting because the cloud is objectively bearish. Usually these are in agreement. Yeah, so I would just watch the weekly B bands for it to make a decisive move. It is like it already had the rounding band, or the rounding BBW. I would just wait for the price to glue to one of the two upper bands. It just kind of looks like it needs to consolidate more, to be honest with you. Again, if you're going to request a coin, let me know what exchange you're talking about, so I'm not just searching all over the world for whatever you're trying to do. All right, ADA on Binance. So same story as Solana. Currently above the midline. Pretty consolidated on the B bands. Right? Just I would wait for this gluing to the upper band before getting terribly hot and horny over Cardano. All right, you want Algo on Binance? So Algo looks objectively bearish. I say objectively bearish because it's like, if you want to have just like a 50 IQ view of the market, you could be like anything below the B band midline is bearish, anything above is bullish. And we see quite clearly it has made a nice home for itself below the midline. And it's going into a squeeze. So I would, again, wait. The moral of the story here, wait for the upper or lower band to get some love. Oh, I see. It had this big rally today, and so you're asking about it. That's probably what it is. But if we're looking at the weekly chart, like, just wait. Right? Wait for something like this. Or, this. Okay. So you want ARB USD on Binance. ARB. Why is everyone talking about this? Why is this such an exciting, like, I keep seeing everyone talking about this coin. Like, what's the big deal about it? Oh, wrong coin. What's wrong about it? Oh, the ticker's fucked up on TradingView. Oh, what? Oh my god. There's an airdrop for it. Okay. Okay, so Jesus. I mean, it's like kind of in this little channel thing. Pretty clean channel too. But I mean, dude, there's less than a week of price action on this. I don't think there's anything. What? How did it start off at 49 cents? Yeah, I don't know about this one. I mean, it's objectively bearish, right? It's like very clearly trending down. Um, I hate charts that have such little price activity because it's like there's so much room for just randomness, right? Ooh, what? All right. Any other coins you guys want to look at before we wrap it up? Saya coin on Binance, my man. I haven't seen someone pull out Saya coin in a long time. Saya coin premium. The fuck? Saya coin's a dino coin. Thing's been around for a long time. Damn, it was up 200% off this low. It's crazy. Um, yeah, I mean, this thing's looking pretty objectively bearish, right? Like, resisting the Kijun, resisting the 50 EMA on the weekly, resisted the cloud. Scicoin has much greater price history on other exchanges. It's 27. No, it's 2017. That's not right. Hmm. Tells a different story on Bittrex. Interesting. But either way, I mean, it's still macro down, right? Like it's not nothing objectively bullish about it. Like, but if it got inside the cloud, that would be something to get excited about. All right, Velodrome. What? First of all, if your ticker name is Velodrome, you're an asshole. Let's shorten it up to 3 letters, okay? Like, get with the program. Velodrome on Mexi. Also, that's a terrible name. Velodrome. That sounds like a Ninja Turtles villain. Do you guys remember Ninja Turtles? Was it the Technodrome or whatever? Like the underground sphere that Shredder lived in? You guys remember that? Did I just date myself? You see, the Ninja Turtles back in the day were a group of turtles that were exposed to radioactive ooze and gained the power of ninjas. And they had a cult leader, an overlord by the name of Master Splinter. He was a giant rat. All right, so let's see this. So Valodrome. Yeah. Was I right? Is it called a Technodrome? I gotta Google this right now. Hold on. Technodrome. I was right. It is the Technodrome. Who is this on? First of all, hold on. I gotta copy this for you guys. First of all, terrible, terrible thing, right? What the hell is all this? Like, why is there a giant eyeball there? What are these pitchforks doing? Why is there a zipper on the side of it? Like, what is this thing? It's like basically like they tried to rip off the Death Star, and it would like this thing would just drill underground. It was very bizarre. All right. Anyway. What the hell are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about this thing. Okay, so this thing's looking objectively bearish on the 4-hour chart. Again, another coin that doesn't have a whole lot of price history. But in terms of, like, this looks like a 4-hour continuation to the downside. It's getting rejected on everything. Like, it doesn't even have a daily cloud. It's so new. Yeah. All right, let's take a couple more here. So Litecoin is looking proper here. Let's take a look. Litecoin. Litecoin. So Litecoin actually doesn't look bad. I agree. On the weekly, it is one of the few coins that has already mean reverted to its Kijun and it's finding support. And I like that it's in this cloud and it hasn't just absolutely shit out the bottom side of it. Like, that's great. The daily cloud leaves much to be desired, but this isn't something that's unconquerable. Like, if we get a close up here, that'd be great. Monthly is this gigantic inverted hammer thing. Yeah, I like that on the weekly too. It came down and bounced off this midline. B-bands are consolidating. Yeah, I would say watch for the glue to the upper band once this thing finishes consolidation. Yeah, it doesn't look bad, that's for sure. Agree on that. All right, last one. This has more history. Magic USDT at OKX. Magic USDT. OKX. Okay, so it has a year price history. You're right. Have you already checked S&P 500? No, I haven't checked any equities. So if you guys have any stock tickers, like, we can definitely look into those for sure. So Magic. Magic's doing the classic Cosby sweater here, right? Just looking like a 4-year-old got a pack of crayons and just going ham on your drywall. Yeah, it just kind of looks like it needs more consolidation, honestly. The 3-day is pretty consolidated. So wherever it moves from here is most likely going to see its continuation, right? So if it glues to the lower, boom. Glues to the upper, boom. Right. But right now, it's kind of just like a wait and see, honestly. There's some massive profit taking going on here. All right, Netflix. Let's take a look. Damn, Netflix was like up only for a little bit, huh? And then slammed into this midline. Also, this prior level here. Let's take a look at the cloud. Oh, rejected the cloud too on the monthly. Weekly's got an edge to edge setup, which would target this upper boundary. So maybe that's another last shove in it. Daily fighting to get back above the cloud. Yeah, I would be wary of getting exposure on Netflix here. Um, Also rejected the 50 EMA here too. There is this monthly C clamp though. Like maybe it hits this Kijun, which by the time it hit it would be, somewhere over here. The time to get long on this with the C clamp would have been like, like here maybe. Well, maybe not there. There. Yeah, this is a sketchy play because like, it's kind of like, well, what do you do, right? So you see this C clamp, you go, okay, market closes inside the cloud. You're like, oh, hell yeah, this thing's going to the C clamp, gets rejected out of the cloud and the 50 EMA. There's just too much shit for it to overcome. I would not be surprised if it doesn't actually mean revert there. But can we talk about how clean this cloud structure has been? Like, look at all this stuff. Look how clean that is. Apple looks nice. Let's see. Yeah, Apple does look good. I agree. I've been watching Apple. It's one of the tech stocks that didn't just absolutely shit its pants. Monthly cloud is still bullish, right? Even the lagging span is above price. And we're most likely going to close above all of this stuff. Like Apple looks as a monster. Back above the weekly cloud too. What do the B bands look like? B bands are super consolidated. So here's an example of like the running consolidation that B bands can do. All right, it's not common, but it does happen sometimes. You see how like the B bands peaked here, which is like, here. The market just continued to drift upward ever so slightly. Like an extra 25%. And then, it gave back another 30 or whatever, but Apple looks super bullish. It even bounced off the lower band and rallied. Dude, Apple looks super, super bullish. Yeah. I agree. Apple looks really good. And these are monthly candles, so like, you gonna short Apple? Like, fuck no. RKLB. Let me see. Rocket Lab. Rocket Man. Oh, Jesus. Do you know anything about this company? What is Rocket Lab USA? What are they? What's their spiel? Um, One of my friends gave up. No matter what I buy, it falls down. She said, I will buy something random from now on And she said RKLB. Well, sorry to say, this chart looks like shit. Try to burst your bubble. Kind of has this like descending triangle thing. But the trend is objectively bearish. I would not be surprised if this daily chart turns into a continuation where it goes down. But, you know, maybe it moves up. This is just random as hell. Watch the B bands is really the moral of the story here, right? Watch for this thing to come up here or go down there. Can you check out MVY? MVY, yes. Media Inc. Movely Media Inc. Whoa. Okay. This thing's down big time from its all-time high. Demoralize your friend some more. Well, yeah, tell her she picked a shit chart, so good job. This is a weird. I don't know how to read this. This chart is just noise to me. I don't know what to make of this. It's a video creation app. It got pump and dumped hard in 2021. Yeah, I see that. Looks like it's just gonna. I mean, this looks like a shit coin. I would stay away from this. This thing's got bad breath. You don't want to be near this guy. Okay. Oh, someone want to look at SPY. Yeah, we can look at SPY. I'll look at SPY and QQQ, and then we'll wrap it up, I guess. So QQQ, triple Q, QQQ has a couple things going for it. It's currently situated on the weekly to do an edge to edge. Now it still has a few days left, or 2 days left, so it could reverse. But at the moment, it's in the cloud, and if it continues upward, it would target this upper boundary. The thing that does have me a little bit sketched out about it, though, is there is this 3-day M top, right? Boom, boom, which would have it pull back down to this midline. But yeah, overall, it's not bad. It's not bad. Oh, the weekly is an M top too. The weekly closed in M top. Okay, so weekly close in M top. Watch for the weekly to close red. This current weekly candle to close red, because if it does, it's going to trigger the M top trade, which would target this midline. Somewhere down here. And then if we look at SPY, weekly chart is also teasing an edge to edge. Like it tried to break into the cloud so many times and just couldn't. If it can have a decisive close inside the cloud, that'd be great on the weekly. The daily chart is kind of just like a grab bag, right? But the weekly B bands are pretty squozen. I would just watch to see how this thing resolves, honestly. Here or here. Okay, so that wraps it up. Again, if you guys want the notes from the stream, kind of went like an hour longer than I was intending, but We had a lot of questions, but that's okay. If you want the notes from the stream, go ahead and check out my Discord. I'll post the invite link one more time. Boom. Go check it out. Get the recordings, the link, the notes. You can see all my tweets, all my video content, all kinds of other fun stuff there. So check it out. It's the one-stop shop for all my content. And also keep an eye out for the Market Power Hour a week from today with me, Josh, and Jack. And we will be Justice League super friends to the end. Okay? All right, you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll be streaming again on Friday to wrap up the week. All right? All right. Thanks. Have a good one.